I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware my sound is on. I just don't give a shit. I don't care. 3, 2, 1. I just don't care. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans? How you doing? Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel live show, post-game live show, that is. This is it's a tough one to swallow. Anytime you lose to a team like, first off, like LSU, not that they're a bad team, they're a good team. I think they're I don't know how far they'll go in the tournament. They're not really built for the tournament, but they're proving that to be not the case. These guys have now won back-to-back nights in the SEC tournament. They're just the reason why I say that is they don't really have depth, and they're kind of built around 3 guys. And if 2 of those guys are having a bad night, it's tough for the guys around them. You know, they don't get a ton of production from their bench. And I don't care about the trash talking. People are upset about the trash talk. Look, man, I welcome that. Anybody who's played sports on any level, you welcome the trash talk. Listen, 6th grade flag football, okay? Jefferson Jaguars. I played center. I don't know if this play was legal in flag football or not. We used to have this play called the center pass. I snapped the ball. I played center my entire freaking life. I played center. Kiwanis, going all the way back to 3rd grade, Kiwanis red team. I played center. I would snap the ball, and I would run like I would pretend like I was blocking, and then run and catch something in the end zone, catch an open pass because no one would defend me. And I walked by. I'll never forget. I walked by. I think it was Washington Elementary in Fayetteville, and I told them I did this. And I'm talking about 12 years old. I went, it smells like burnt toast, right walking by their huddle. And they were so pissed off. I welcome the trash talk. It bothers me losing to a team with a coach that has a face that you just want to punch. You just want to hit the guy. I can't stand Will Wade. I can't stand him, even without all the cheating. And we know he cheated. We don't even have to go down that alley. I just hate losing to them. You know, it is what it is. At least you didn't get swept by them on the year. I'm happy they got that loss out of the way. Maybe that'll. I mean, look, you lost to Oklahoma State. Then look what happened. One of the greatest runs we've seen in Arkansas history since dating back to the early 90s. I mean, before that, obviously, we're talking about the conference win streak, which you had 3 wins going into that game, and then coming out of it, you won a whole bunch after that. But, I mean, you get what I'm saying. You went on a pretty great winning streak after losing to Oklahoma State on the road in a game with Cade, who played in that game. You could have won that game, right? This was another game you could have won tonight. You could have won. They trailed by as many as I think it was 10 points there at least in the second half. I came so close to just wanting to make this nothing but a pretty tough, I was going to do the LSU with the S being the dollar sign in the title, but I decided not to. Is someone telling me the GFY or good for you? Gift for you. I don't know, you guys. Is someone swearing at me in chat? Oh, did I trigger somebody? Did I get somebody mad? Mr. T-Dub, so sloppy, still going to the tourney though. Yeah, I mean you're locked into the 3 seat. So, you got to get the loss out of the way, and I'm all right with that. Tears are rolling down my face right now. Why? I mean, come on now. Let's not get that emotional. A loss is a loss. We haven't felt one in a while. Come on now. Let's face it, we went cold. They went, 7+ minutes on a scoring drought, and you still could have won this game. It's hard to win. It's hard to win them all. You can't. You just can't. It's part of it. Couldn't knock down any shots. Too many turnovers, mistakes. Ton of them. So many, and even that last turnover, like that last possession by Arkansas with J.D. Note when he turned the ball over, that was the game right there. That's what the game felt like. We'll go over the numbers here in a minute. And I don't know if the turnover difference was that large or not, or was it? Let's just look at the box score while I'm here. How many turnovers did Arkansas had? They had 14. Arkansas had 15. So, yeah, I mean, not a huge gap there, but they're just stupid, timely turnovers. It's a tough one to swallow. I get it. I mean, obviously, the Razorbacks winning, you get to go to the SEC championship, which would have been the third time in the last, 7 years? Is that right? Third time in 7 years you've been to the SEC championship, or am I on one? Maybe I'm on one. I swear that would be 3 and 7. Styles makes fights. This was a game that we needed Jalen Williams, period. I agree with that. Combine that with free throw shooting, and that's a wrap. Yeah, I agree. The worst performance at the free throw line I've seen by Arkansas in a while. They shot sub 60% at the free throw line. They were 11 of 19. They had a hard time drawing contact fouls. Something that last time Arkansas played LSU obviously made changes, right? Look, you lost to the best roster that money can buy, guys. I mean, come on now. It's not too much to be sad about here. LSU, good scoring offense, and, they have salaries that could rival the NBA G League. So, is what it is. Shut up, LSU. I hate LSU, and they're paid for trash-talking punk players. Yeah, it just doesn't bother me as much, I don't care about that. It's one thing if you, when they step over players, when they make a play, and they're stepping over a guy, and they're looking at him like that, stop. Just stop. Someone's already down on their back, and you're going to do that. Come on. Where did all that interior passing come from? I've complained about this. I've talked about this before. I've talked about it before here. They are lost when they move the ball around underneath, and LSU knew that. And a lot of it, too, it was just stupid mistakes. I don't know how many. Moody didn't exactly – well, Moody played great in the first half, but some stupid passes, some stupid turnovers. He had 2 turnovers last night in the first few minutes of the game against Missouri, and he had 5 points. He came back today, had a strong first half. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough people around him step up. If you have to rely on Moody, and I realize we've got a couple of people in Discord that are usually almost always optimistic, and I get that. But you got to call spade a spade, and the problem, especially in the first half, even when you were playing good basketball, I mean, you still went on a little scoring drought in the first half for over 2 minutes. No one else was responding. Justin Smith did later in the game. Note off and on in the first half. I think he had, 6 points or something like that in the first. Needed someone else to step up. You knew Moody – there's no way Moody was going to keep that going all game. And, he still ended up having a hell of a night. I mean, tip the cap to Moody. Unfortunately, it comes at a loss. JR's here to put hateful comments already. Oh, goodness. Go fry yourself. I must have missed. Did someone tell me to GFY? Or are they the Hogs were gassed. I'm not too disappointed on the NCAA tournament. On to the NCAA tournament, says Rusher 1977. I agree. If memory serves me right, the 1994 squad was in the same position and went on to win it all. Great wake up call, says Shahid Mustafa. I don't. Yeah, I mean, they've had some great runs before, and were eliminated at this point. I mean, this game doesn't define what you're going to do the rest of the year. I agree. You guys. LSU needed this game. We didn't. We still played sloppy, but hard. And that's the crazy thing. You go on this 7-minute plus scoring drought, and you could have won the game. You knocked down a few more free throws. Who knows how this thing, I think you probably would have won. Arkansas usually wins ugly games. Just wasn't the case tonight. Arkansas looked very tired. They did in the second half especially. They looked gassed. Again, this was a game you'd love to have Jalen be able to rotate inside, it'd be nice to have fresh legs. He would have been good to go tomorrow. He would have been good. The protocol's over with. That protocol, some will probably try to argue that protocol cost Arkansas tonight. I hate projecting like that. I don't know if that's the case necessarily or not, but there's no doubt Jalen would have been a nice push. It'd be nice to have fresh legs or somebody else, another big that you can rotate down low. I didn't really want the 2 seed anyways. Arkansas is now 1-5 without Justin Smith because he sure as hell wasn't here. Hey, wait. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Will Wade is just a cheating, ugly, beer-drinking piece of crap. What's wrong with drinking beer? Solo? I don't get it. A lot of overpassing from Arkansas. I'm not sure if I've ever heard that one before, Pops. Overpassing? I don't know what that means. I don't know if there is really such a thing. You like ball movement. You like it so much, Musselman has assistants keep count of how much ball movement they have. Mark my words, truthfully believe we were the only team to take Alabama. LSU team loses by 15 tomorrow. I don't like LSU's chances tomorrow. Again, they're just not a tournament team. They're not built for tournament play. They don't have. Now maybe it's possible too. They catch Alabama like they caught us today. They just caught us on a bad day. After Moody's explosion in the first 7 or 8 minutes of today's game, Arkansas just went ice cold. I would love to know what their shooting percentage was after Moody's like first half performance, or 80% of his first half. After that initial burst of points, I'm really curious what the shooting percentage was because it was terrible. And I said this in Discord, you got to have more people step up and play, and they normally do. And I agree, they normally have a couple of other guys that are capable of scoring and putting points on the board. It just wasn't the case tonight. I will also say we've seen this happen before where they really rely on one guy in the first half. It's why you go back and you look, how often has Arkansas trailed, even in the middle of their win streak, where they trail by double digits because you're not getting enough production outside of one score. That has happened to Arkansas, and it happened multiple times. It was part of the reason why Alabama and Mizzou and LSU had we know Alabama and LSU had gigantic leads, or 15, 20-plus leads. Arkansas, no one else would respond. So, again, it has happened. We're not bulletproof. And you cannot rely on just one guy to have phenomenal production on the floor. Someone else has got to step up, and that's why Arkansas went on this great historical win streak. It's why they went on and won, X amount of games in a row. What was it, 12? Was it 12 straight? They had production. If one guy had a bad night, then two guys stepped up. Or third guy stepped up, right? And not even just in total points, just in shooting percentage, attacking the boards, ball movement, drawing fouls, whatever other way, because there's a lot more. Too many times we look at scoring production and we go, well, that guy didn't score a whole lot of points, so he was trash. No, hold up. Let's look at everything else. Let's look at his assists, his steals, his blocks, his offensive and defensive rebounding. Was he drawing fouls? Again, was he moving the ball well? And that just was not the case tonight. And I think, outside of Moody anyways, I think, too, shot selection was garbage. Shot selection-wise, tonight was the worst I've seen since maybe Oklahoma State or that second game against Auburn in the first half where they trailed by, I forget what it was, but, the shot selection in that first half, and they ended up making adjustments and finding a way to win an ugly game. And you go to the Oklahoma State game, I kind of thought the shot selection in that game could have been a lot better. And they still were in that game too. This game reminded me a little bit of that Oklahoma State matchup. It's the same thing for Oklahoma State. And don't get me wrong, I realize they won a big game without Cade, but I still think that if they're not the kind of team that if Cade gets hurt and he goes out for a half, they're in trouble. That's not the case for Arkansas. That's what's great about Arkansas. They're actually built for tournament play. I wish they would have won tonight. Again, it was really, really bad basketball by Arkansas. It was really bad. Again, if Moody doesn't go off, you probably do lose this one by double digits. I don't buy that had Moody not gone on that huge, amount of scoring that he went on, that what he was doing in the first half, the production. I'm not buying someone else would have stepped up, because no one else did. We had a 2+ minute scoring drought in the first half, and then you had a 7+ minute scoring drought in the second half. I don't buy that. I don't buy for a minute that someone else would have stepped up, because they didn't tonight. Maybe Justin Smith, who did end up having 21 points, but Justin also was nowhere to be found for a long period of time. It wasn't until the second half when he really started to bunch up his points. Justin Smith was good tonight. He was 10 of 13, and you can't complain about 21 points. He didn't get him at the free throw line. Hang on. He had a couple of putbacks. He had a productive night, but you cannot, again, when you look at a 2+ minute scoring drought and then follow that up in the second half with a 7+ minute scoring drought, someone has to step up. Smith, I guess you can argue, did later on, but Moody did end up finding a way to get a few more points in the second half. What do you have in the first? Was it 20? He had 20 points in the first half. He had 8 in the second half. So still 2 pretty solid halves from him. Note, again, I'm kind of shocked he only had 3 turnovers. I thought it would be like 5. But he didn't have the most. It was Justin Smith tonight who had 5 turnovers. But again, you only had 1 more turnover to Oklahoma State. It's just, again, look at the numbers. I mean, my God, you shot 23% and 57% from the free throw line. I think those are the 2 numbers that tell you the most. They tell you the most about what happened tonight. You compare that to Ole Miss, who shot 47% from 3-point range on 19 attempts, and they were 13 and 15 at the free throw line. You had more attempts at the free throw line. You had 4 more shots. You make a few more of these, and obviously you lost by 7, but I think it changes the way Musselman would have to have handled this game, and instead, I mean, he was having to handle this game trailing most of it, or at least a solid 60% of it. Kind of put Arkansas in a position they haven't been in a while, especially when you look at the final, that final 10 minutes. That's usually been about when Arkansas gets things going, is those final 10 minutes in the second half, because what happens is depth just kicks in. And again, you got to give LSU you got to give them a lot of credit. They really were. They came in, they played some of their best basketball. And they're playing really good ball right now. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? I don't know why Moses lit it up in the first half and couldn't buy a bucket during the second. He did end up with 8 in the second half. I mean, that's not terrible, but it's not great. I don't know what he shot in the second half. I'm curious as to what that was. They can't get open looks. They struggled creating their own shots. They really struggled, off the pick and rolls or ball screens, smoke screens, as Musselman calls them. They really, in LSU, I think, played that second half. That was some of the best defensive basketball LSU has played. I was reading comments from LSU fans here and there across social media, and their fans were shocked at how good they played defensively in the second half. They really put Arkansas in a tough situation in the second. I mean, they weren't giving up too many open looks. Meanwhile, you're giving Cam Thomas open looks. I don't know how many wide open threes they had. Arkansas has to do a better job of chasing them off or out of the perimeter. And it wasn't their worst performance, at defending the 3, but it wasn't great. It was honestly bad enough that LSU won. I mean, you could argue because of how well they shot the long ball. Fishman says would love to run up to Will Wade with a leather belt and smack his face. I don't condone violence, but has there ever been a more punchable face than Will Wade's? He's such a slime ball, man. He's such a slime ball. I hate losing to this guy. Look, like a friend of mine was talking to us in group chat. None of these guys watch any of my live shows, so I'm gonna say it anyways. A buddy of mine said, "Well, everybody cheats." Well, first off, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? You've got Will Wade, who had been accused even before the FBI came along, even before he was caught and put on a documentary on HBO. He had a reputation, just like the guy at Tennessee, just like the guy at Auburn, who have been found cheating, right? But I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I hadn't heard anything. I didn't know anything. Someone said, I think he got busted during the FBI, during all this, with these coaches getting caught. And I said, what, really? Sure enough, there it is. And then a little while later, several months later, you get the documentary. What is it called? The Scheme? What's the name of that documentary? You hear Will Wade bragging, and here they are, no repercussions for that, and they're still playing. They're going to play in the NCAA tournament. You can make the same argument for Oklahoma State, but fine. I don't care, whatever. I still just hate losing to slime balls like that. I hate it. Is what it is. I think we'll go further in the tournament. LSU proved me wrong. If they go further, congrats. It's the best roster that money can buy. Congratulations. It amazes me that Will Wade was completely caught and received nothing for it. And LSU never asked him to step down. They never asked him to take a pay cut. No assistants. As far as I can remember, I don't think any assistants were fired. Now, Oklahoma State, I think their assistant he got jail time, if I remember right. And remember, they got the number one player in the country. And while Oklahoma State is not in trouble for that, they did hire his older brother. And there were some other fans of other teams at recruiting Cade that were screaming foul play. So I'm kind of waiting on that one. I feel like it's a matter of time before we hear about that one. But still, the point remains, if you get caught cheating, because you are innocent until proven guilty, if you get caught, there should be repercussions. There's clearly footage of Will Wade, and I've told you guys before, Google it, YouTube it, you can hear it, just type it in, Will Wade, Alley. I've found it, and I put it on Twitter several months back. It just drives me crazy, and if Arkansas is cheating, I would say the same thing. I wouldn't want Musselman coaching here anymore. If he got caught cheating like the way that Will Wade did, now if he's got an assistant who's up to no good, then you need to fire the assistant, and Arkansas needs to be penalized. It's just the way it is. If an assistant gets caught cheating, you need to be penalized. Now, obviously, there's different degrees, and that's why the NCAA has different levels of punishment and different levels of what they consider to be cheating. What do they call it? They have a word for it. Someone's going to have to bail me out. What do you call that? They have a name for it. It's like a level 1 violation or something. And I do agree. Like, that stuff needs to be played out. You need to, I don't believe in internal investigations. I want external investigations. I want the NCAA, not the SEC, not that team's. I don't want the team to do an internal investigation like we've seen other schools do and completely get away with. I don't want that. I want the NCAA to do exactly what they're supposed to do and hand down punishment. And what Oklahoma State did, I think, I don't know about a postseason ban or not. I mean, probably so. And I think what happened with LSU, hell, there needs to be an investigation by the NCAA to go further, figure out what else they did, what other cheating has gone on there. Because, listen, do you really think that Will Wade just hit the stop button once he was caught? I mean, have you seen the Pony Express documentary? What is it, 30 for 30? Have you ever seen that? Like, SMU got caught in this vicious cycle where they couldn't stop cheating because then players were threatening to rat them out. And eventually one did. Some cat they recruited out of the Northeast who was like, all right, well, I'm going to go public with the cheating. It's a vicious cycle. And so I don't know. I just think that LSU, I don't think they should have been able to participate in the SEC tournament. And look, I'm fine with playing them. You lost to them. They played better. Congratulations. I have no problem with that, with playing them. But I do think if we're going to have a set of rules, then you need to abide by them. And if you don't, then there should be repercussions. And clearly that rule is not applied to LSU. Is that school waiting for the other shoe to drop? Probably, because now you've got this stuff going on with Ed Orgeron and Les Miles while he was there. It's amazing to me. We live in an age of cancel culture, which is a virus, if you want my opinion. To hell with cancel culture. But it's amazing to me that you've got the school down here that is just getting away with murder. I mean, they are, well, damn near close to it, and nobody cares. It's like, yeah, whatever. Is there no level of respect or I don't know, policing in the NCAA? They don't apply these rules evenly, and that's a problem. Or even when they do, it's like, really, that's all they got? You saw what happened with Penn State, who had my God, the Sandusky stuff. Who cares? Who gives a damn? Everything that was given to them by the NCAA was then taken back. And their excuse was, well, that happened, that's not fair to this current coaching staff, so on and so forth. It's unfortunate, But this game, you lost not because of, we can talk about why you lost in terms of, or how LSU was able to get to this point, right? We'll all agree to that. How they got here is because they bought and paid for the talent they have on the floor. But that's not why you lost the game on the court today. You lost this game on the floor today because Arkansas played inferior basketball. It was bad basketball. It really was. It just was not good. Again, shot selection was terrible. Their half-court defense, it looked like they had a hard time getting set. Free throw shooting, it was just bad. Bad basketball. LSU came in, played better. Congratulations to them. I hope Alabama beats the shit out of you. All right. The longer they cheat, they get away with it. The more blatant they become. I agree. Where's Nick Nolte when you need him? LSU's athletic director's stepson is married to the NCAA president Mark Emert's daughter. Things that make you go, I didn't know that. Who's cheating and where did I miss? You don't have to look very far. LSU was definitely caught. It's sad when you're playing people and LSU still can't get the number 1 seed in the tournament. Oh, when you're paying people. My bad. I don't have my glasses. Maybe I should put my glasses on. That's just depressing for LSU, right? I mean, they're yeah, I don't know. It still hurts, but it'll be okay. We look sloppy, lost, and tired. On to Indy. I agree 110%. On to Indianapolis, where I think Arkansas, again, I think I might even move from the Sweet 16 to saying that this might very well be an Elite 8 caliber program. I think they're good enough to get there. Obviously, then you start to wonder about matchups a little bit. And like I said last night, matchups, they're always going to be a problem for everybody. There's no one that can get away from that, even Arkansas with their depth and size and talent. But it's still something you need to look out for. Who are they up against? If you're up against a team that's offensive heavy like LSU, who's got 3 just solid. They have 3 NBA guys on that roster. Again, go back to what I was talking about 2 minutes earlier. They have 3 solid NBA players on that roster right now. Right? Defensively, I don't know where they're at. Someone in Discord said their defensive efficiency was down towards the bottom of the SEC. I do remember seeing that somewhere, so there might be some truth to that. But if you play another team that's loaded down with some pretty good talent, maybe they have a little bit more depth and they have size and they've got everything going for them. Obviously, that team is probably going to be a higher seeded team, and maybe you don't have to deal with that until later on in the tournament. I'm excited. I don't think Arkansas is one and done. We had a couple of people breaking down in our Discord about that. They thought that Arkansas, because of their performance tonight, they'd be one and done. And look, that's absolutely possible. I just don't think that's going to be the case. If they play like they did today, they'll be out first or second round. And I don't know. Maybe they played terrible and they still could have won this game. Wade is a slime ball, and his players are as well. They talk shit after made baskets the entire game. They did. You got to know how to overcome it. Look, I get people being upset by them, John. Fans usually are turned off by that. But I can remember Arkansas having a few football players that did the same thing. And look, I loved it. I don't mind some trash talking. It shows me you got heart in the game. Now, is it classless? Sometimes you can take it too far. I do agree with that. Arkansas played horrendous and still almost won. Not that worried. And I'm in the exact same boat. I agree. Okay. Did I miss a live chat? Hope I didn't. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, it was Fishman on that last one. LSU's. Oh, no, I already read that. There was someone who had. So you will have. The good news is you get Jalen Williams for the NCAA tournament. That's something else you got to consider. You played, again, horrible, awful basketball, some of your worst basketball. So let's get to the numbers. You did all that, and you had Jalen. If you had Jalen Williams and you made some free throws, you probably win this game. I do feel that way. Let's look at the numbers. Let's go to LSU first. They were 28 of 66 from the floor, shooting north of 42%. 9 of 19 3-point range. I mean, look, anytime you knock down 7, 8, 9 threes in a game, you're doing pretty good. They shot almost 48%. Free throw line, they were just better than Arkansas was. 13 of 15 on one. What was it? What did I say? 1 or 2 fewer shots at the line. Well, it's four or fewer shots at the line. 13 of 15. Their starting 5, obviously, Thomas and Smart, both had a really good game. Days, who was 2 of 5 outside, but it was Thomas who you left open too much, and he knocked down 4 of 6 shooting. I mean, he actually had a really productive game, a couple assists, 3 steals. He had a block, only turning the ball over twice with 21 points. That's not a bad game for Thomas. Their bench production, again, this is where they're going to struggle in the tournament. They don't get a whole lot of production. Not to say that they haven't. I know someone's going to come along and post some bullshit stat. Oh, look what they did in these 2 games with their bench. Look, their bench for the most part this year has been it's been a bumpy ride. They have a hard time wheeling and dealing or not wheeling and dealing if their bench doesn't help them out a little bit. And they didn't get a lot outside of Gaines with 10 points. Gaines kind of came in and did some good. LeBlanc had 8 rebounds. Arkansas kind of forced to play a little bit smaller today, too. That's something else you got to realize. But Arkansas beat them in total rebounds. You had 43 to their 39. You had 16 offensive rebounds. And Will Wade talked about that in the first half. He was a little concerned about their rebounding. And, look, they still got out-rebounded by four total, and that's not a lot. It's not a very large margin. But they still found a way to win. But again, LSU is going to have more production from their bench because the tournament, I doubt you play too many teams that are like Arkansas where they come in and play just their worst basketball. LSU, and again, this is the crazy part. They don't have the depth to go far, but they have the talent of their starting 5 to make anything happen. Would not surprise me to see them make the Sweet 16 or even further, simply because of their starting 5. If their starting 5 can come out and play every game similar outside of one player, but I mean nearly all their starting 5 had double-digit scoring. You nearly got a double-double out of Days, who had 8 rebounds, 13 points. They have the talent to go far. Their issue is going to be, against teams that have a little bit more size and depth than they do. That's where they're going to struggle, and they could hit a wall. Right. Again, I think Arkansas should have won this game. They played a horrible game and still should have beat LSU. Now, Arkansas, 41% from the floor. A lot of those points came from right underneath the basket. They've gotten a lot better at finishing at the rim, and they've gotten a lot better at defending at the rim too as the years gone on. But a lot of their points, a lot of their easy points were from right underneath the basket. Almost 42%. But 23% on 26 attempts outside of 3-point range is terrible. That's awful. You knock down 6 out of 26. You're not going to win a lot of games with that kind of production outside, especially when you're relying on the 3 game to help close and bridge the gap, the scoring gap, and you're shooting that poorly. I mean, you really need you need to be in that 10 to 12 margin, or 10 to 12. You need about 10 or 12 of those made out of 3-point range. That way you're north of about 30%. But instead, they're at 23%. You go 11 of 19 at the free throw line. Not a good day. I mean, Moody wasn't terrible at the free throw line, but he was 8 of 12. Again, it's part of his game. He's good at finding the line. Your starting 5, Connor Vanover, again, this just wasn't his game. He also he got blown by like 2 or 3 times the last 2 nights in his initial minutes on the floor. He got pulled really quick. He wasn't out there very long. I think last night he at least had a block. Tonight he didn't have any. He had nothing. He was 0 for 2 from 3-point range and was playing poor defense, and he was off the floor. Look, this is nothing new. I mean, this is, again, it wasn't because of the pacing That's not why he was pulled. He was pulled mostly because of his poor production in the first few minutes of the game. He was getting blown by on defense, and he was 0 for 2 at three-point range. Musselman felt like this just isn't going to be his night, and he knew that and that was a good call. Again, LSU can play at a faster pace. It's not his night, right? But Moody, who, again, you talk about a guy, I mean, he kind of took things over. He nearly had a double-double, 28 points, 9 rebounds. He played fantastic, right? Devo, surprisingly, with 8 rebounds, 6 points. Justin Smith, who came on a little bit later in the game, 21 points, 7 rebounds. You really needed Justin Smith in the first half and in the beginning of the second half. A little bit more production, not just from a scoring standpoint. But he did come along and was 1 for 3. For some reason, I thought he was like 4 or 5 at the free. I swear I thought he took more attempts at the free throw line. Keep in mind, I had to run to Walmart during the second half, so I had my phone. I'm walking through Walmart with YouTube TV on, watching the game. I probably got him confused with the Weekend. I thought the Weekend was on the floor. JD Notte turnovers. He didn't even have the most with 3, but they were. I think every single turnover resulted in points for LSU. He had 3 turnovers in that turnover there at the towards the end of the game. 9 points. Not a great night for him. Again, Justin Smith, his stupid passing underneath, if I'm just being real. I can't believe some of these obvious, like a defender was right there, and it was like they were handing LSU the ball. Cut those turnover numbers down by 4 or 5, right? Make a few more of your free throw shots. Move a little bit better ball movement out on the perimeter, and Arkansas probably wins this game. I mean, I really do think it's as easy as that. I really do. You played an ugly game, horrible shot selection, turned it over, some stupid turnovers. Not LSU defended, not LSU extra effort turnovers. These were just stupid passes, especially when they try to move the ball underneath the net. That's why you lost the game. Again, you cut down on those turnovers by 3 or 4. You hit a few more free throws, Arkansas probably wins the game. It's just it's just as simple as that. So, there's Big Daddy. Where'd he go? Will Wade is the Hugh Freeze of basketball. And they feel it coming, right? Like the NCAA eventually is going – their hand is going to be forced. I mean, they're not a blue blood basketball program. They're just not. For them to land the kind of recruits they were landing, that's where everyone – it was very similar when Ole Miss – I don't know if you guys remember, but Hugh Freeze is putting out tweets like, if you catch us cheating, please tell us. Because otherwise, you're just full of it. We have standards here at Ole Miss. And we knew they were cheating. And then it comes to the surface a few years later. It's the exact same feeling at LSU, only they were caught. Let it go, Ty. Never. The LSU hate. I love it. Connor's not good when he plays aggressive teams. Well, that's why he sits the bench when you play these teams that like to go a little bit more up-tempo. I really hope this doesn't drop us down to a 4 seed. I don't think that it does. I think Arkansas is still a 3 seed. I mean, especially, I don't know how they, when they look at, I don't know how much they really give to tournament games. I think their mind is pretty much already made up before the tournament. Because if Selection Sunday, it's like that right after the tournaments. I mean, it's bing, bang, boom, right? I don't think the conference tournaments, did I say NCAA tournaments? I'm sorry. After the conference tournaments, I don't think they give these games a whole lot of weight. And besides that, you weren't one and done. I think they locked down the 3 seed, but you never know. Hey, Ty, Hogs will move on to have a good dance and make us all proud in the baseball. Yeah, baseball won today. I don't know the final score, though. Relax, Hog fans. All is good. No, all is awesome, says Tim B. He's just carrying that optimistic attitude, and I am absolutely A-okay with it. Tim, thank you, sir. We lost. I don't know, NBD. Is that not bad day? What does NBD mean? What what matters now is how we finish the tournament. I agree. This team is talented enough to make a deep run in the tournament. You're talented, and sometimes it's not enough to be talented, right? You got to be well coached. You can't overlook anybody. And I mean, that's an obvious, especially in the NCAA tournament. You can't overlook anybody. You got to have depth, and I think they have all of these things. Musselman, I don't know since he's been here that he's truly overlooked anybody. I really don't, and I think that it just bodes well. I mean, they really should go pretty far in the tournament. The question is, what are you prepared to settle with? Are you going to be okay? And I don't, I haven't even really thought about this. I just kind of popped into my head. Are you okay with Arkansas going and just getting past the first round? If they lose the second round, it's okay. Or are you just glad they made the tournament? Are you going to be upset if they don't make the Sweet 16? Are you going to be upset if they don't make the Elite Eight or Final Four? That's what Hawk fans are. You need to mentally prepare yourself. I've said all along, I think they're a tournament team. I think I'm at the point now where if they don't make the Sweet 16, at least, because that's where I've had them since the beginning of the year, or at least in my mind, I knew they were that good, and they had the depth and everything, like I've mentioned 1,000 times. I'm in that mode now where it's like if they don't make the Sweet 16, yeah, it might feel everything that you accomplished during the regular season kind of feels like it goes up in smoke a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious. Illinois is a team to watch. Oh, for sure. I wouldn't overlook Gonzaga either. I don't care what they do in these final days. Smart got away with so many walks. It was insane. There were a lot of travels, and I thought the same thing against Missouri. But they hit Arkansas every time, and with every call, it seemed like they got him on travels. Hogs need a big man. Well, I mean, they've got size, Lorenzo. I'm not sure that that's really the problem. This loss will be the OSU loss to turn the page on our next chapter, NCAA NIT champs. What? Baylor lost and will be a 1. I expect us to stay at 3 seed. Yeah, I agree. They're a 3 seed. Why are there comments here about the NIT? We're going to the dance into the store. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. No Sweet 16 and we riot. Okay. No Sweet 16 and we riot, says Bloodline. Wonder if Note shared his stomach virus with the team. They looked sick. That's something to ponder. They say he had the stomach flu yesterday, and he ran to the locker room throwing up. Check this out. LSU will have to vacate all of these wins when the program goes on probation. That's a good offer. I feel like they're going to have to. I mean, they better soak up. LSU fans better soak this up while they can. Then again, like I've said before, the NCAA does not apply their punishment evenly. But I still feel like because it's so obvious that other shoe is going to drop. So they better soak this up while they can because they're going to have to vacate every single one of these. I feel like, right? And then we're going to go back and go, and this is what sucks for the big dance. If they do go far, then that means all those teams that were eliminated by LSU, ask them how they feel that LSU made postseason play. You know, I have had people tell me it is what it is, and I'm like, no, but that's not fair to teams that are about to get knocked out in the NCAA tournament because I do think they're going to win at least a game, maybe even 2, because of their talent. But then only for a year or 2 later for those wins to be completely – I mean, you're going to have asterisks wins next to every one of their wins, right? How do you think those teams feel? Like, wow. Oh, you know, this is why the NCAA – they should have acted a lot faster, you know, and the same thing I think Oklahoma State, again, I don't know that they were found. I don't think they were found cheating with their current roster. Not yet. Pending. I think it wouldn't surprise me to see the NCAA knocking on their door, maybe, hopefully soon. Think about all the teams that get knocked out. Only, you know, it's just like the Reggie Bush USC stuff, right? I mean, he had to vacate his Heisman. Think about those other guys that were up for the Heisman. Like, oh, all right. Where was this when all this was going on? The NCAA is just too slow to react, and It's part of what's wrong with central planning. I'm not going to get political here, but that's part of the problem with centralized planning and not applying things equally across the board. Maybe these conferences should be held responsible by another governing body. I don't know, but it is what it is. Look, I agree. I think LSU is going to eventually have to vacate some of these wins, probably all of them. But Arkansas should have played better, and they would have won the game, right? I mean, that's always the case when you lose. There you go. There's the hot take. Play better, you won't lose. Also, for everyone, I know the playback I was going to mention this at the beginning. So all these videos are monetized by YouTube, and I monetize all my videos, all my live streams. I mean, it's nice to get paid for doing this, and so I don't know why they're spotting all these ads like I don't know however many minutes, but they're pretty frequent, and I apologize for that. I do not go back and watch videos, so I didn't catch it, and I think this has been going on now for a few videos. I don't go back and listen to my podcast. I don't go back. I don't like listening to myself. I hate listening and seeing myself. I don't even like when my OBS camera and I can see it. Like if I look down, I hate it. So I don't catch stuff sometimes. So I appreciate you guys bringing that to the light. I apologize for that. I switched it up. There should be just overlay ads where you can exit those ads. I hope that's the case. Let me know what you think if those ads are annoying. But I like to get paid to do these live streams because they do usually carry on for a little bit, and it's nice. I mean, there's got to be some way of monetization here, and I don't know if that doesn't work. I really don't know. I may just have to unmonetize all these videos because I don't want you guys to have to skip through ads. Like I don't like that. I'm the same way when I watch live streams when I have time to listen to. I listen to a lot of political stuff, and I like to listen to them without having to skip ads. So if I could figure out a better method along the way, or if you've got any ideas or tips, let me know. Don't be afraid to reach out and like, hey, why don't you try this or that? It's part of the reason why I have Patreon. It's part of the reason why I have Super Chat, so eventually I can just completely do away with monetized videos. I'm kind of surprised YouTube still has me monetized. I do say things. Well, I don't stick inside a certain box that social media wants you to stick to, right? I'm not Mr. PC over here, so I'm really surprised I'm still monetized, but I am, and so I'm trying to work around the situation as far as the ads, and I do apologize. I'm the same way. I hate having to, especially when I've got the AirPods or what do you call those things, the earbuds, the Apple earbuds in. And I'm trying to just listen to something while doing, whatever around the house, and then I got to go back and skip. I hate that. So I feel your pain. And I do appreciate you guys for reaching out and letting me know. You better bet that Muss will use every last drop of this loss as motivation for the dance. I'm telling you, it might very well be the best thing to happen to Arkansas. The single dislike from the pissed LSU fan counts as a like. Come on, Tiger fans, hit the thumbs up or thumbs down. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. What are we at on likes? 24 likes. We can get that up. We can get some likes up. Not NAT, National. I've been drinking heavily. All right, that's forgivable. I'm about to do the same. I'm going to drink some rum and Pepsi here in a little bit. I'm going to run and probably even grab me a cigar from the cigar shop in Fayetteville here in just a minute. So, yeah, I do. It's a tough one to swallow. It is what it is, as I've been told. LSU fans, enjoy it while you can. There's going to be a little asterisk up in the corner for all of your wins this year, including this one. But good luck to them. Not really. I hope you lose. I hope you lose 2 games in a row. Hope you lose the next one and the one after that. But Arkansas, I think you're in good shape. I still believe they're Sweet 16, maybe even Elite 8. I think they're somewhere in between there. So I will be live. Do we know what time the selection committee is tomorrow? That's the question. I do want to go live for that, or maybe immediately after. I don't know. I want to figure that out. Do we have a time? Anybody know? NCAA Selection Sunday show. Let's pull that up here really quick. Date, time, schedule, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 6 p.m. So, come on. Here we go. 2021 Selection Sunday for the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament is Sunday, March 14th. The show will begin at 6 p.m. It's, I guess, is it exclusive to CBS? The entire 2021 men's basketball championship will be played in Indiana, with the majority of the tournament's 67 games taking place in Indianapolis. So some of the dates are a little different this season. The first 4 is Thursday, March 18th. The first round is Friday and Saturday, March 19th and 20th. So also a heads up, I probably should have mentioned this too. I've already kind of let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to be out of town this week or next week. I'm going to be out of town. Will that affect the games? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to be out of town. Oh, here we go. We have the whole schedule here. So Selection Sunday, and then you got your first 4 on Thursday, March 18th. And let's see, first round Friday, March 19th, March 20th. So I may not be able to do some post-game shows. So we'll figure this all out tomorrow. I'll give you a heads up as to what I'm going to do as far as post-game shows. Dark Horse Final Four. Yes, I've been drinking. Selection is at 5. Well, it says here it's at 6. Is that Eastern time? No, it is. You're right. Okay, it's Eastern time. So it'll be 5 o'clock. Good catch. So 5 p.m. Yeah, because they're an hour ahead of us over there. 5 p.m. So I will probably either go live after, and if I might risk it, I might even stream it. I might risk it. I don't know. Well, it says, now hold on. No, you said 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. So that would be 5 o'clock here. So 5 p.m. tomorrow is selection time. So that'll be a big one. Or a big day tomorrow. What's this? LSU had 2 players yelling at our bench after the game. Coach Wade said he would address it. Oh, okay. So there was some. Ooh. That's from ESPN, ArkansasHitThatLine.com. All right. Oops, I was right to begin with. Yeah, you're right. You're right to begin with because 6 p.m., yeah, they're an hour ahead of us over there out east. So, anyways, we'll get caught up tomorrow. We'll try to figure out when I'm going to be available for the post-game shows. I may even have to do a game from my phone. That's a possibility. We're just going to have to work around it and figure it out. I'll let you guys know. I'll try to keep you up to date either in Discord or on Twitter. If you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter at Ty Hudson HTP. Is that what it is? Hog Talk? Yeah, at Ty Hudson HTP. So, or again, if you're in our Discord, let me give you guys that link too really quick. Never gonna never gonna run around and hurt you. Here we go. All right, here's a Discord if you guys want to stay up to date, and I'll try to get you guys. I'll try to keep you up to date as far as my availability there and on social media. Okay. All right. Woo pig, tough loss is what it is. I'll should be able to talk to you guys tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Be good, and don't forget. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out all the links. Patreon supporters. Keep being rock stars. To everyone who gave a penny into the super chat, shout out to you as well. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, let's go. Let's just drink this one off. We'll be okay. Woo pig.